I'd like to introduce you to a tool called the Situational Leadership Model. The Situational Leadership Model explains how not one leadership style is the right one for every situation, but how we should adapt our leadership style in different situations. Very much particularly with regards to the development phase the person is in that we are helping, mentoring, leading, or managing. So I'll quickly talk you through the tool. So we go through different development stages as humans, which is portrayed on this illustration is D1, D2, D3, and D4. So that's development level 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I will, by way of a little analogy, do my best to explain what the different development levels mean. So first of all, in development stage 1, if you think about when you learned to drive a car, or when people do, at the beginning, they're very, very excited. Yes, got my learner's badge to stick on my car. I can't wait to start learning. So there's very high commitment, but there's very low competence because they've not really learned anything yet. Development level 2 is when you've had a lesson or two now. You realize it's not so easy to get the biting point just right, and that's the basic. You're not even moving forward or driving or parking or nothing at this stage, just taking off. And this could make someone feel a slightly lower commitment. So you'll start thinking, oh, can I do this? I don't know if I can do this. Maybe I can't do this. So there's also lower confidence maybe, and starting to feel quite anxious and stressed, and what's the point? I'm probably never going to do it. Those kind of thoughts and feelings could be coming to the surface emotionally. And there's a little bit of competence, you can get in the car, you know what to check before you start, you do your mirrors and all the rest of it, you start the car, and then you get to the biting point. So that's your second development level. Third, D3, this is where you've had a few lessons now. You got the biting point right. You know how to drive, but you're still a little bit unsure about the bigger roundabouts, what lane to get in, and maybe the speed limit in certain places, and maybe still feeling a bit nervous turning, taking the corners, and especially when you have to go faster on some of the narrower country roads where we live in Wiltshire, and having to do 60 on those, etc. So D3 would be there's some competence, so you can maneuver the car around. You're probably not perfect at parking yet, etc. But practice makes progress. And there's variable commitment. So there might be days where you think, oh, I'm just really struggling today, or actually, no, I know I can do this. I just need to practice a bit more. So then we have development level 4. So this is where there is maybe high competence and high commitment. So you've got your license and you've been driving for a while, and it's just really great. You know what you're doing. So how does the situational leadership model work? So the situational leadership model is this four-box grid here. At the bottom, you've got directive behavior, and on the left-hand side, you have supportive behavior. So a combination of being directive and being supportive in our leadership style. So situation 1 or leadership style 1 works well with development level 1. So when people are at this point in their development, there's low competence and high commitment, you might have to be quite clear. You might have to show them how to do things. You might have to be patient, and break things down for them. So telling them what to do, because they literally don't know. Leadership style 2, this fits well with development level 2. where they are starting their driving lessons, for example. And this is, again, there's still some directive behavior, but there's also supportive behavior here. So, for example, you would set them a task and then meet up again and check in how that went. And kind of in small time, a little bit like sports coaching, I would say, where you set a target, they have a go, you review it, you do some learning reflections together, and you set the next task, etc. And then you have leadership style 3, which fits well with development level 3. So this is where you've been driving for a bit, you've had a few lessons, you've not got your license yet. And here is where you have to really focus on boosting confidence. So less of telling them what to do and more of giving them objectives and letting them get on with it. And if they are feeling uncertain, they come to you, stay patient, and instead of telling them the answers, it might be good to ask something like, what do you think will work well? Very often they will know, and then you would really reinforce that and say, that sounds great, off you go. So it's about really refining maybe some of the skill and techniques gently, but it's more about letting them have a go and supporting them when they come to you, but with reinforcement. And then leadership style 4, this is where you can delegate, and you can only delegate if somebody is competent in doing the task and also committed. So often people jump from direct to delegate for S1 to S4. That's not how it works. There has to be a process. All of us, for different situations, are in a different box on this grid, depending on what we're doing. So the first time you do anything, you're not going to be in D4, are you? So recognizing where you're at when you're learning, but also recognizing where your mentee is at, where your coachee is at, where your direct report is at, or where your team members are at, can be very helpful in terms of how you can adapt your style in terms of how you contribute to their development. I hope that was helpful. Please get in touch if you have any questions about this tool. I find this a very helpful and useful tool for leaders, mentors, and managers to have in their back pocket. Thank you.